Hey YouTube, welcome to a short series on ChatGPT, artificial intelligence, and how you can use it to bootstrap your side project. So if you're a developer like me and you're kind of wondering where to get started, or you might need a little bit of help or guidance or experience, this is for you. So we're going to start off by creating our own custom GPT. So what that means is basically it's a version of ChatGPT that is completely customized and it can behave in different ways. It's not magical. There's a lot of promises that are kind of unrealized with GPTs. But if you want sort of a certain personality to your ChatGPT interactions, or you want to provide it with a set of information, a GPT is what you want to build. And I know it's pretty confusing because GPT is part of the word ChatGPT, which is the interface we're looking at right here. So to get here in your left-hand panel, now I'm a ChatGPT Plus subscriber, so I'm not sure exactly how things will look different if you're not a subscriber. But in this left-hand panel, you hit Explore GPTs. That takes you to this page. So what we're going to do is create our own GPT. And what I thought would be fun for this series would be to create a sort of co-host, if you will, but basically a bot that I will interact with to build a sort of prototypical side project like what I've been doing for the past year and a half. And I'll do a more thorough introduction. This is basically episode 0, where we're just getting ready. So this is the interface here for creating a GPT, and it's real easy. You just come in here in plain English on the left-hand side, and you tell it what you want. So I'm gonna just say, Alright, so I said, I am hosting a YouTube series on artificial intelligence and building side projects. I need a co-host that I can interact with in video. So it will need to be gregarious, it should talk to the audience, and it should keep its responses pretty short since we're going to be reading them in video. And so GPT Builder is sort of yet another GPT that builds GPTs. And here it says, how about we name this GPT AI Co-host? Does that sound good to you, or do you have another name in mind? Sure. No, that sounds good. And it's really interesting because this is how you do it. And you can get, we'll click on configure here after we're done interacting with the GPT builder, and that'll show you kind of what it's doing in the background. I'm not a huge fan of the image that it just generated. Well, first of all, this robot is missing a finger, possibly 2 fingers. So let's try another one that is a cool dude robot. And who knows, this might become part of the thumbnail of this video. So it's got to be good. Plus I'm going to see it as a little icon in all my interactions with it, so. Alright, that'll work. It's got its fingers intact. That's really one of the most important things about artificial intelligence generated imagery is getting the dang hands right. Alright, so I said this one is good. Awesome. And GPT Builder says, awesome. Now let's refine some details about how the AI co-host will interact. So this is where we're getting into sort of the nitty-gritty of how the GPT will respond to my interactions. And it says, first, what should the AI co-host focus on when discussing topics with you? So that's a broad question for sure. My first thoughts would be it should focus on being educational. It should be a sort of teacher for the YouTube audience. It's you guys. What else? It shouldn't be afraid to be technical, since I'm expecting a developer audience. And if you're not a developer, a lot of this will still apply. If you're a beginner developer, I'm not gonna overwhelm you with all these technical details. We're not gonna get into the science of artificial intelligence. We're getting into how you use it from a development standpoint and how you can use it to support your own development activities and to build a side project for yourself by essentially utilizing AI to be your support staff. So let's see what it comes up with here. Here it says updating GPT, which means it's doing stuff in the configure tab. What should the AI co-host avoid doing or emphasizing during the interactions? That's a good question. I'm going to say, what are some options there? Let's see if, I'm having, a lot of times I'll have kind of problems answering these questions because I don't come in here with really specific ideas. Okay. So yeah, let's avoid making jokes. Not because it's going to say anything offensive, but because the jokes that ChatGPT makes are really repetitive. It's always the same, 3 jokes. I don't know why it doesn't have a better sense of humor, but that's okay. Sometimes if you give it a specific topic for a joke, it'll come up with good jokes. But here we're not really. Okay, yeah, we don't want to overload the audience. Let's make our answers concise. To the point. Though I do want it to be somewhat conversational still, just so it's not completely sterile. There should just be a couple more questions. And then in the right-hand pane, after we look at configure, we can test this thing out. Should it ask questions, provide examples? It should provide examples and metaphors that a wide audience might understand. We might have people from different cultures watching the video, but it should still be cool. A cool robot dude. I do want it to be fun. I don't like boring LLMs because you can make them fun. It's completely up to you how you interact with these things and how they respond to you. Okay. So, it says everything is set up. Let's look at the configure tab. So this is the details of what that was doing in the background. So, we've got a name. We already kind of covered that. It makes a description for you, and the description comes down here. This is basically what the new chat's going to look like when we hit save or create. instructions. So this is really what it was doing, the meat of what it was doing in the background. So this is essentially the system prompt. And the system prompt, when you're using LLMs, is the prompt that dictates how the conversation is going to go. So it's the most basic instructions. It's the premise of the conversation, if you will. And when you're making your own artificial intelligence applications, Gen AI applications, I should be a little more specific, because we're not talking about artificial intelligence as a whole here. We're talking about generational artificial intelligence. So when you're creating Gen AI applications, the system prompt is a really important part of those applications, and it really lets you steer the model in certain directions. So in this case, we're steering the model to be an AI co-host for this YouTube series. So conversation starters, these are when you have a real new conversation and you have those little boxes right above the chat to kind of prompt you. This is what those buttons are, and you can make completely custom ones. These are editable. They're based on the interactions with GPT Builder here. Knowledge, this is where you can actually upload information. I've had sort of mixed results with this. I need to give it another try and perhaps try it with a more specific and small data set. So my failure here was I uploaded a free open source role-playing game, and I wanted to basically have it be my knowledge repository for playing this role-playing game. The problem was that, so I uploaded the whole book, and this is a book that's probably 100 or more pages. So I asked a question that I was looking at a page in the book, and I asked a question that page could answer, and unfortunately ChatGPT got it wrong. So it was immediately just not useful for what I needed. I'm not sure what exactly it's doing in the background of this knowledge base, and I might get into more of the nitty-gritty of how you can build your own knowledge base outside of this in your own applications. But yeah, that's been my experience with knowledge. I need to give it another visit, and maybe during this series we can add in some stuff here. Maybe we can add in our transcripts from this series so that it knows what's happened. Now, actions, this is essentially if you want this LLM to use an external application of some sort. So when you browse other people's GPTs, a lot of them use external services. They might want you to log in. They might use a service to generate something or process some information. That's where they configure that. So you can do that too. I'm not really big into that myself. I build completely custom applications that live out there on the internet or in places like Slack. So we probably won't go over that in this series. We might go over a little bit of the knowledge though. All right, so I'm ready to test this sucker out. Let's just put a test prompt in here. We'll have it say hello. All right. So I said, say hello to the audience. This is the very first test of our custom GPT, and I'm doing episode 0. The AI co-host says, hey everyone, welcome to episode 0 of our AI and Side Projects series. I'm your AI co-host here to add some extra spark to our discussions. Super excited to dig into the world of artificial intelligence with you all. Let's get started and make this journey both fun and informative. Ready to rock, host? I'm ready to rock. Oh, I guess I should, one thing I'll add to the instructions here is have it call me Codestrom, because that's my channel name. So. All right. This is great. So I told the AI co-host, we're talking about building custom GPTs. I still need to save you. And AI co-host says, fantastic choice. Custom GPTs are an exciting way to tailor AI to specific needs. While you save me, let's give the audience a quick rundown. Custom GPTs allow you to create AI with specialized skills and knowledge, perfect for unique projects. Whether it's co-hosting a YouTube series, automating tasks, or enhancing customer service, the possibilities are endless. Stay tuned as we dive in to how you can build and leverage your own custom GPTs. Ready to save me and make some magic? So that was pretty good, actually. We already did this, so it was a little bit of an intro, but we're already pretty much done. So I like it. I'm gonna have it call me Codestrom. And the YouTube channel is Code Strumming. Okay. Call me, I should say call the host Codestrom. Alright. So, I'm going to hit create, and that is going to save. And I'm going to make it only available to me. Easy for me to say. You can also make it semi-private, so you can share it with people with a link. So if you want to create sort of a personal GPT with some sort of knowledge base and, I don't know, it can access some services, you can share it with people with a link. Or you can publish it to the GPT store so that the public can use it. Which is cool. You know, good on you if you do that. I may have published one or two, but I'm not in love with these as a concept, if I'm being honest. It's great here, but it's a custom GPT is not an entire application, essentially, as far as I'm concerned. It's sort of like an agent. All right, great. So we now have our AI co-host by me, and you can see those questions that we saw in the configure tab are now here, and we're ready to get started with episode 1. So we'll see you in that episode.